But first of all, I'm from Argentina, so I'm not so good with English. So please, if you cannot understand something, please let me know, and I will try in another way. We first, intensive salmon agriculture in farms. Please let me say something about the local context. You can see in the right side where is Ushuaia in the southern part of South America, this red dot. And in the right part, you can see the island, Tierra del Fuego is an island shared between Ushuaia, between Argentina and Chile. And I refer only to the Argentinian side of the history. And in the island, we have a population of 2,000 people, mainly split 50 and 50 in these two cities. And this side, in general, the island is surrounded by almost pristine habitat. So one of the main income of the province is the tourists. So people visit Ushuaia naturally in tourists. So as you can see in below, there are like a sea, it's similar from here, like sea, lakes, mountain, you can climb in, hiking, and so on. So most of the people visit Ushuaia just to see penguins colony, whales, sea lions, and those type of activity. So we have an important port in Ushuaia because, as you can see, the location we are near from Antarctica. So Ushuaia is a gateway to go Antarctica too. So tourism is an important activity for our province. So from the fish point of view, we have the lowest fish biodiversity in South America. This is, well, you perfectly know that we have a latitudinal pattern of species richness. So in the south it's cold, so we have the lowest biodiversity. We have only 3 native fish species, or 4 if you want to consider lamprey as a fish too. So we have in our islands historical record of fauna introduction in our island, not only in fish but also in mammals. We have, for example, beavers from Canada. In 1950, we transport 50 or 20 beavers to our island, and today there are more beavers than people in our island. So it's funny. In this context, the national government foster or press for generate new incomes in this province. So let me say something about fish in Ushuaia quickly. We have in all Patagonia more than 10 species of Salmonid in Chile and Argentina, but brown trout, rainbow trout, and brook trout are the most widespread. And with time, these 3 fish become relevant for the recreational fisheries purpose. So for example, in this graphic, you have a picture of Rio Grande. Rio Grande is a city in the island. And this picture is like it's known like the international capital of trout in Rio Grande in our province. And in the next slide, you have the brown sea trout, which is the most relevant species in this river. So, but the history becomes relevant with recent invasion. In 2010, we first report the presence of Chinook salmon in Ushuaia. So we detect this species in one of the red spots, more on the left, which is inside the national park. This was the first presence of this species in our island. And after that, Nardi in this work show how these species are increasing the presence in so many rivers alike in our island. So the invasion is now progressing. And as you can see, anglers and fishing guide, I'm so happy with this invasion. But when in 2010 we took some tissue samples for those fish. We did some genetic analysis just to know how these fish can reach the end of the world. So the result was amazing because we are here in Vancouver, but the genetic analysis show us that the fish come from the Wallet River could be, you know, or Columbia River. So here in North America. So the question was, how can these fish come to the end of the world? So further investigate, we found that in the Chilean, I cannot show here, no. In the south part of Chile, in the Rio Prat, they transport some fish for some aquaculture development in the 90s and the 80s. And of course, some fish escape from this project and move from Cape Horn between the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, and they invade not only Ushuaia and other rivers in Patagonia too. So this is why it's a long trip, and this is why we have some salmonid in our place. And after that, in 2019, Chalder reports a second species, new species for the province, the coho salmon, probably from Chile too. So in this context, the innovation Norway company and the government of TDF, Tierra del Fuego, start a project to for the intensive salmon agriculture in cage or in farms. I mean, these floating systems in the Beagle Channel. So they select Salmo salar as the species. And just from the beginning, the communication of the government communication around the project was so scant and unclear for some reason. So this information was like discovered for us in the middle of the process, because as I said, the government don't say something clear about. And the total production of the project was about 30,000 tons per year, so like an average. And in 2,000 farms or cage, in some rows, depending of the sign, the specific location of this cage was a matter of debate. Almanza is a small place, a small village in the coastline of the Beagle Channel. And they depend on the artisanal fishers, so the fishers don't like too much this type of floating system in the coast. And the project includes only the flattening phase. I mean, no overproduction, no, or the next step of the processing like packaging or filleting, that are activities important for the employment. So this is the information that we have about the project. So as soon as this information becomes public, some people get concerned. And at first, some people, local people, get concerned, but in few weeks, not only local people, own ONGs, researchers, the tourism sector, and the gastronomic sector of GDF get involved in this issue. And the issue scaled to local, the newspaper of, these newspapers are from Ushuaia, but the other are from national level, so they're the most famous newspaper in Argentina. So the problem scaled from provincial to a national level. So in this context, we wanted to know if this project could be a productive opportunity or conservation risk for us. So the main goal of the project was to identify different profile of people has different perception about salmonid in general or salmonid aquaculture in particular. So for that end, we create an online questionnaire split in 4 sections and 21 questions in total. We will see the section if you slide, but all the questions have 5-point scale. And to answer the main goal, if different profile of people influence their opinion, we run a permanent model. We can go deeply with the methodology at the end, but we use the Go dissimilarity index with the modification of Podani just to create a dissimilarity matrix, a triangular matrix of this matrix. And in this model, we use profiles of people as factors. We have like three different factors. Residence, so those people that live inside TDF, that people live outside TDF. Profession, because we like to know if profession influences the opinion. So we create two levels of this model, of these factor. People that are closely related with Salmonid or with biology, like, for example, researchers studying biology and so on, to those people that do not relate with Salmonid. And the third factor, also with two levels, we create like the knowledge index. To that end, we create 5 extra questions. And if you answer 3 or more questions correct, you have like a high knowledge index. And if you respond 2 or more, you have like a low knowledge index, just to know if different profile of people influence you. So we run the model and then we do some plots to interpret the result. So this is the main result using the 4 sections of the questionnaire and the 21 question in one. So the model says the result of the model are here. I don't know if you can see here. Okay, from here you can see that the residents influence the opinion of the people. The opinion of the people is different if you live inside the TDF or no. But for the 2 factors, profession and index, you can see here that there is a second order interaction in the model. So that this factor interact, are no independent. So that means that graphically it could be better. This is this plot, and you can see there that, let me see, that people with low index of knowledge and people that have a profession not related with biology has different opinion in comparison with people that have, for example, high knowledge index or close to a profession. So this is a group of people that has different opinion depends the other. So that's like the first result. What about section? The section number 1 of the questionnaire was about aquaculture and Salmonid. I'm so sorry because it's too much to read, but we can go quickly because are similar. So for example, you have here the section name, you have here the question, and you have here the option. So for example, the question number 1 was salmon farming in cage or farm inside the Beagle Channel for human consumption. This was the first question. The second is exactly similar, but for trout, just to know if those early invasion are different from those recent invasion. We also asked for salmon in INTA. INTA is integrate multi-trophic aquaculture. It's a different type of aquaculture, like more environmental friendly. The question 5 and 6 was salmon farming on land for human consumption, or salmon and trout. And the 7 was the farming of native fish in Beagle Channel. And the last one was about salmon or trout farming. It could be an important activity for the economy of TDF. So you have here the option. These are the results. This is the section number again. This is like the short sentence of the question, just to see what happened, and you can follow the color in the results. So we can go quickly because we don't have too much time. But as you can see, in this part of the graphic, the salmon farming cage, the trout farming cage, and also INTA is not really accepted for most of the profile of people. Most of the people say strongly disagree with this type of activity. But on the other hand, trout farming on land, the red line, or farming native fish in the BC would be acceptable. And this is common for all the profile of people that we integrate here. The section number 2 was about salmon interaction. And the third question was if salmon interact with other fish in rivers, streams, and lakes, and in which way. You have here the different possibilities for choose. The same for trout. The same for salmon and trout, but on the marine environment. just if different environments have different impacts. And about salmon and about trout, but about water quality. Here you have the result in the same way. As you can see here, no people show positive or very positive effect of salmonid on freshwater fish, on other marine fish, or in the environment. But you can see here, for example, different opinion between profiles. So people that have close related profession with salmonid, or people that have high index of knowledge about salmonid, they select more negative effect than those people that don't have knowledge or have too much knowledge or are not related profession with salmonid. So appear had people that have more information have a different opinion. The third section of the questionnaire was about a potential salmonid eradication. So the question was if salmon must be eradicated from TDF, or trout must be eradicated from TDF, or if salmon and trout must be eradicated only in protected areas like reserve of the national park, but not in the rest of the space. The last question was the introduction of new species of trout and salmon must be prohibited, but those that are already established in TDF must be left free. And the last one was about the prohibition of salmons in trout in restaurants, fish markets, and so on. But for this section in general, we don't see a clear pattern. You can see that all the lines are around the center. So that means that was like in a regular pattern. But you can see the brown line. So people can accept the species that are already established, but don't accept new introduction in TDF. And of course, the people like to eat salmon. So they don't want to prohibit salmon in markets and so on. But probably the last question is the section number 4, with the last question is the most interesting. The question was, what do you think about a provincial law, so some type of legislation, toward banning the intensive salmon aquaculture in TDF? And the result is clear. All the people strongly agree with this type of legislation. So what's about the case finding? We found that different respondent profile have different perception, especially for section 2, which is like we found more difference. But this don't mean opposite opinion, because sometimes the models say that we have statistical difference, but it's the intensity in the same way. It's not exactly different position. Overall, salmon was perceived as worse than trout. In the fact, salmon is recent invasion and trout as early invasion. The majority of the responding do not support the extensive agriculture of salmon or other salmonid species in Beagle Channel, and this is also true for INTA project. The support for salmonic aquaculture on land, we found a support for salmonic aquaculture, but on land, not using the Beagle Channel, or using native fish in the Beagle Channel as alternative of aquaculture. Eradication is not a potential solution, especially for those already established species like trout. And we found a strong support for some type of legislation to ban an extensive aquaculture in DBC. That's the main result. So what is happening now? After that, this legislation was created and then was approved for our government. So today, Argentina is the first country in the world that bans salmon farming, at least in the Beagle Channel. But within the law, we can, for example, stocking the rivers and lake for recreational fishing purpose, that is permit. We have some aquaculture projects on land working out also. We are trying to do some inter project like experiment to see what happened with this type of aquaculture. So from the science or scientific point of view, what we are doing, well, we have good news because we want the funding for research and monitor the invasion. We are doing now a new project using environmental ADN in the Beagle Channel just to know the progressing of the invasion. And we have another project using ophthalate water chemistry, not only in the Beagle Channel, in all Patagonia, just to know the invasion too. And of course, we are trying to publish some paper like this one, spatial and temporal distribution of exotic Salmonid TDF, just to know the interaction between the salmon and trout, the early established species and the native species too. This is what we do. So let me check the time. Well, we don't have too much time to present this. I will go quickly just to show you the situation and the conclusion, go quickly to the result. We are now talking about damming the Santa Cruz River. The Santa Cruz River is not in TDF, it's in Patagonia, but it's not in TDF. So you can see here where is the river. From the right side, the Atlantic Ocean, and from the left side, the Pacific Ocean. So you can see here again the Atlantic Ocean, and the Santa Cruz River. This is the basin of the Santa Cruz River. This river is the last free-flowing river in the steppe of Patagonia. And in this river, we have two important species for the recreational point of view: the Chinook salmon and the steelhead. They are both exotic because they are salmon, of course. And just to put in scene some of the actors, so you can see here in the lower basin a small tone, the unique tone in the basin. Of course, in this tone, there live a lot of anglers, and they have some aquaculture facility for stocking this river with salmonid fish. So you can see here the two dams that are projected to construct in the middle of the way. And you can see here in this site, the only spawning region, spawning site in the river that is known for the steelhead. And you have seen here the only spawning site for Chinook salmon. Now they are all here. There is another spawning site for Chinook salmon. But here in the left side, we have two cities important for tourism reason. And NP means national park. This is the national park in the left side. So we have here the actors because, of course, anglers and anglers, suppose, are concerned about the consequence of the dam for these two species. As you know, they are anadromous species. And the section of the river that will be inundated in the future, as you can see in the second one, include the only spawning season for the recreational fisheries species. So this is what happened. Let me show the time. We don't have time, so I go quickly for some of the results. This is like the present situation. I'm so sorry about this, but we don't have time. I did in this case the recreational fisheries assessment. So we do a Robin Hood survey. We have information of these variables now. I don't have time to say something about them. I would like to show you at least one result. Here, you can see in the left side of the graphic the fishing effort, and below the months of the year. And you can see clear two peaks of fishing effort, one between March and May, September and October. And below you have some species name and the run of these species to the river for the spawning reason. So the main result is that the fishing effort increase when the exotic species are running along the river to go for the spawning site. So the recreational fishing is based on exotic species. So, and of course, depend on the life cycle. I don't have time to explain how it works, but this could be the last slide for today. This is the actual situation. The state of the art that is the dam is constructing, is progressing. Okay, I will quickly. And the main answer here is if we really need the construction of fish ladders. Because if it is yes, the design of the fish ladder should be for Salmonid, because in this case, we can improve the fisheries quality, of course, but the fisheries for exotic species. So the other question is, if you need fish ladder, it just be for lamprey. Lamprey is the unique native fish that is anadromous in this system. So, and if you need a fish ladder should be constructed only downstream, upstream, or in both direction. And of course, anglers say, yes, we need fish ladder in both directions because we want to fish. On the other hand, the authority of the national park say, no, we don't like the fish ladder because we don't like exotic fish in the national park, for example. And like the last questions could be for us, like biologists or researchers, what should be our opinion in this type of situation? This is all for today. Thank you so much.